Welcome to my first tutorial! This tutorial is suitable for beginners. Welcome to the club! This is a mix and match of several online resources that I've seen for making your own pads. I made about 10 to 15 until I managed to find the one that works best for me, and I thought I would share it out with the world thanks to the internet. You do not need a lot of material. This is really cost effective. You can use it on its own or as a backup for a tampon or your cup, whatever you're using. I've been using it on its own for a while now, and so far I have no horror story to share with you. So there is one optional layer that I've done this tutorial with, which is a waterproof-ish layer. All of my pads until now didn't have that waterproof-ish layer and they've been fine, but I like to add one for a little bit more safety feeling. If you have any questions, you can contact me on Facebook. If you do not want to make them, or you don't have a sewing machine, or you're lazy as fuck, which is usually my case, you can drop me a mail and I can sew those for you for a little fee, which would help me support myself. So here are the materials that you will need. 100% cotton for the top and bottom layer, some towel-y fabric for the middle, and some waterproof-ish fabric for the inside as well. And I use a bit of flannel as well to put on it. For the fastening, you will need some Velcro. First, trace the shape on a piece of paper so that you can adjust it later on. You can use a pad of yours that fits. If not, you can just use those dimensions. That's going to be the exact dimension that you will want from the top layer that is there, which I use 100% cotton for, the bottom layer, which can be whatever you want, preferably something cute, as well as the waterproof layer that is here, that is optional. Inside these layers, you're gonna find something like an insert, which is not an insert because it's gonna stay there, which is gonna be exactly the length minus a few millimeters. So what you want to do with that towel-y fabric is to have it sit just before the end of your pad. What you're gonna have after this is one last layer that you will have to put on top of that towel-y thing so that it absorbs even more. Okay, let's get sewing! So just to clarify from the start, you'll have your towel layer, your flannel, your top layer face down, your bottom layer face up, and the waterproof layer. You're gonna take the towel piece as well as the small flannel and sew them together on the side so that they don't move when you wash them later on. Once this is done, you're gonna attach it to the top layer, so you put it face down, then pin the top and the bottom, and then you will want to sew only the top arch and the bottom arch, nothing else. Next, you're gonna take your bottom layer and your top layer and put them right sides together. So the top layer is facing down and the bottom layer is facing up. Then you're gonna take a waterproof layer and put it at the very bottom of it all. And then just pin the four corners. Next, you're gonna stitch all around the pad, but you're gonna start and end with going forward and backwards a little bit so that your stitch is really secure. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start at that corner, go all around it, and then leave this gap on a straight line to be able to turn it around. Don't forget to stitch back and forth because the stitch there needs to be pretty solid. Once you're done with this, you're just gonna trim the seam allowance, which just means that you're gonna trim the excess of fabric that is after the stitch, just so that when you fold it, it's not bulky and lays as flat as possible. And then just go ahead and turn it around from that little gap that you left open, and you will soon understand why I said you had to go back and forth, because otherwise the stitch will just undo itself, which is okay, you can do it again later. And if you can, just press from the inside so that the fabric stays and lays really flat. The next bit will just be to close that opening, so you're just gonna fold the top layer and the back layer slightly inside so that you can see no raw edges, and use a straight stitch as close to the border as you possibly can. that's pretty much it. Now all you need to do is attach some Velcro so that it can stay closed and hygienic. I think you can also do it with buttons or push-up buttons, whatever's easiest for you. I found Velcro pretty inexpensive and easy to use. I wish I could do it with a metal fastening, but I don't have the machine, so this is how I do it. I just cut a square. I place one of the side on the inside diagonally, and I'll go all around the square with a straight stitch. And then the other square I'm going to put on the outside, not on the inside, and do the same thing, just a straight stitch all around the square. And we are done! You are now the proud owner of a pad that you made yourself. Mwah. Ta-da! That's it! Well done! I've got my first tutorial out and you've got your first pad. Win-win! A little bit of aftercare, you just want to wash it in cold water, not hot water, because blood coagulates in hot water. Wash it with a bit of soap and then drop it in some cold water with a bit of detergent until you can put it in the machine. You can also just wash it by hands and hang it to dry until the next time you want to use it. I know I've got this really weird French/Canadian/British/whatever German accent when I speak English to camera, but that does not happen in real life, so everything's fine. Happy perioding, if there is such a thing.